Hello participants, happy to see you here on live stream, and for those who are watching later, this is, I don't know, 12th, 15th event of 3D concrete competition, and we are quickly closing in on the two last sections of the competition. Those who remember, we had 5 of them originally, and that number hasn't changed. And the third phase is confirming 3D concrete print capability for the idea. And this is the first meetup where we'll be going through the already completed 3D prints, and we'll be talking about which or how you have to adjust them. Maybe some parts are too big or too complex for Māris 3D printer to do them in real scale. Also, not all teams will be selected in this stage because there is limited capacity and material. We will be testing teams which have unique challenges. So basically, if there are 2 teams who have similar approach to 3D concrete printing, we might choose only one of them because we are quite confident that the concrete performs quite similarly with similar slopes or surface treatments. Otherwise, I think without further ado, we can go with the teams. And there we have a question. We can probably go quickly over the posters, but I suppose that mostly we will be focusing for those teams where we have on the pictures from the 3D prints. And I can share my screen, or I suppose I should share my screen this time. But if anyone wants to add something, you can, or tell something. But as it goes, I think first comment could be maybe from Juris, because he was the one who printed them. And then Māris can give his comment on how to better transform that to 3D concrete and if there are any challenges along the way. And I suppose Juris also will have some comments on whether he has some ideas what should be improved when we go for the next stage, which is 3D concrete printing. So yes, that's all from my side. And then let's start with the team 4 a.m. I will share the screen again. I don't know why I stopped. And then maybe Yuri, you can give a quick thought. How do you see what should be changed, or where were the most challenging parts, especially from 3D printing perspective?
Hello, everyone. In this case, there is one problematic part that is middle. You see that something goes wrong with the print in the middle part because of
here
angle. Yeah, I spent a half a kilo to check out what happens with that. It's possible also with the plastic printing, but it's very challenging. They must redesign or give some solution what to do in this segment, because the angle is not so comfortable for also for plastic printing, because the thick path and big plastic nozzle also behaves like if it will be in concrete printed. Therefore, I just let it go how it go, and to see what will happen. And yeah, there is some solutions how to split this section, but I can only suggest the guys must see their own eyes what to do. Maybe some clever solutions. Yeah, the middle part is the most problematic, but other things is quite printable and I think cool. Yeah, that's from my side. Māris can continue.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. Really nice work, I think, from almost all of the teams. And also thanks to Juris for the prints. I think this really gives some nice feel to the objects. In this case, I was reading in the poster that this print consists of 36 parts, but I am not able to see all the. Are there 36 parts in the plastic print?
No. In the plastic print, it's the seating. The seating 3 parts are not split into smaller parts, but on a concrete printer, they would be split kind of in a similar way as the pots are. So the back side of the bench would be printed separately from the seating part, and then split furthermore.
Aha. Okay, because in this, because right now when I look at this plastic print and where Juris had problems, well, he prints it like like sideways. It's flipped, and then you print it, and then you flip it but the final idea would be to print the same way as the pots are printed. So it's like how to say, horizontally. Yeah.
No. It will be printed the same as it is printed now. Only it will be split into smaller parts, so we don't breach that 20-degree angle as best as possible.
Okay. Well, I am not sure that I understand how to split this this like middle section where I see those angles that are definitely more than 20 degrees. Do you have maybe this? You don't have your 3D model? How does it look when you plan to split it?
I think our 3D modeler is here, but I'm not sure if he can share his screen today.
Yeah, okay, maybe maybe it will take too much time, because the main concern for me is that it will look the same. No, it will look a lot worse than the thing that Juris is showing. Yeah, so I'll be really a little bit skeptical on that part, but maybe if you know that you won't breach these like angles and size limitations, then you have to show it in your poster. Could be a good.
Yeah, you can actually see it in the poster a little bit above. If Māris can maybe put the screen upwards. There's a schematic diagram that shows how the splitting will be made. But also one thing to mention is that we are remodeling that middle part, which is the most critical one. We're making it with much less of these angles. But yeah, here you can see like how we plan to split it.
Yeah, because the idea, I don't know how much would your object lose if it would be like less angles, because definitely these higher angles would give a lot more headache for us to do. Maybe some parts even impossible. But maybe if you will make it like smoother, it will be more printable and will look just as nice. I think the assembly is quite understandable, more or less, because I understand. I think the rubber that you use in between, those are like prefabricated concrete slabs. You use this special rubber in between, but you need something to hold those pieces anyway together. So I don't think that the rubber will hold it together. In the end, something needs to hold it together. The forces are not that great, but anyway.
We plan to bolt the seating part and the back part of the bench, bolt them both together, and the rubber would be in between so it doesn't crack in process, but it would be bolted together so that it doesn't come apart.
It should be something that connect both of them. But the rest I think is quite understandable for me. And yes, if you will change the angles, I think it's a really nice object. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we can, if there are no more comments or questions, we can go to the next theme, which is free architecture. Or is there anything? It looks like everyone is quite satisfied with the answers. So this is the next theme, and here we can see the prints. As I understand, there is also some reinforcement planned. So it's not only the printed part, but Yuri, I'll allow you to continue.
No, there is only problem that the dimension of Māris printer. Otherwise, if it will happen in concrete from many pieces, then the anchor side must be very clever designed. How to stick together and very solid, because the structure is above your head, and Māris is very pragmatic about something to install and experimental. But otherwise, we can say that the people die from COVID. Yeah, Māris.
Also this will.
Your comments is more important than mine, because from my side the design is nice, very simple, but about structural strengths there is a lot of questions. I think so.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I agree with Juris. I think the object looks really nice in the poster, and yeah, in the plastic print looks nice, but I somehow cannot see the poster for myself here in the middle. Oh, I don't know if it disappears. So have the team thought about the reinforcement? So what's the idea of that?
So can you hear me? Yeah, all good. So maybe just if Matti, can I share my screen? I have model.
Yeah, definitely.
Right now.
I'm stopping my screen share. I just thought that it's really good idea for teams if you have this model to rotate the print file. It's not a bad idea.
So I think you should be able to see it right now.
It's good.
Lost it. Yeah. So long story short, we have planned these Keystone like edges. So where we have this trapezoid connection from all sides, and we have every 30 centimeters these sort of fingers, tapas, and then the assemblance happens from the back to the front. So this side goes first, then we go the second level, as you can see here, and then the final one is this level. Grab Y, and then you finish with this ones. So basically, and each pieces are 60 centimeters in width, and then less than 1 meter in length. So we would try to stick to these shapes. And also from inside perspective, so there are two options. One option is that we have to still discuss. One option is that we print the perimeter of each layer on horizontal position. So right now, the printing happens horizontally, as you can see also in the printed model. And then we just stack it up. And also then there are two options. One is we print the perimeter and then we fill in each object with additional concrete. So which is like the perimeter is printed and then the inside is filled in. And the other one is to keep it maybe empty and lightweight and then fill in not with concrete but something else. Because in total we calculate that the volume of the whole structure, if we do it fully concrete, plus reinforcement bars, of course, that's a little bit less than 3 cubic meters of concrete. So it's 2.9. That's what we have over here. And then the final comment. Yeah, and this is the keystone. So basically, in between the edges, we are planning to have some reinforced either nerusējušais tērauds, steel, or maybe some other lightweight material to reinforce these edges, these keystone edges.
Gils, maybe you also had a comment.
Yes, maybe to add, maybe the question was more regarding the foundation of the structure, because for others, the structure might be more of a freestanding structure. But in our case, to ensure, since it's a curved form, we might need to have some additional reinforcement in the ground. So, so that's definitely, that most likely will need to happen. And so either with anchors, but definitely some foundation in some local areas would be needed. So we will definitely take that into account.
I will probably say anchors will not help us. We need something like slab-like foundation that also can distribute tensile strength, because our wave will push not only downwards but also to the sides. So we have to have this tensile strength. So something like this, like I have on my screen right now, plus concrete bedding is something that we are looking forward to. Yeah.
Most likely the most challenging part is the one that you currently see on the screen, which is on the left side, because it's sort of, it has an angle. It's sort of like cut from, if you look at the plan view. So it might not be like, the weight might not be like evenly distributed to the foundation. Therefore, in that area, some additional reinforcement to the front as a slab would be required, just for maybe extra precaution.
Right. And the good thing about our project is that we had a team meeting, and now we have only one of these three parts, which is over the head part, and we have reduced the size of the second wave. So what we're trying to say that we can have this project split into phases. So whenever we do the real thing, so we can start with this swing over here, then we can move on to the bicycle table, sort of pit stop place, which is just over your legs, not over your head. And then we feel really, really strong. Then we can finish with the structure over here. So phasing is another thing that we have considered, because we don't want to risk lives and anything. Although, as Juris said, that COVID also kills and smoking kills, and this area is for smokers. But yeah, so this is something we are serious about, and we will find a solution for sure. Start with small thing and then move on.
Okay, yeah, that could help. The first two waves, I like the first two waves. Anyway, yeah.
Māris wants the third wave also small.
Yeah. Well, definitely, yeah. Okay, I understand that it definitely uses the arch principle, so you don't need that reinforcement like on the top, but as you mentioned, you need some foundation, and probably that very end of your last wave is quite like when it meets the ground, there could be some forces that pushes it away. And then there probably should be some kind of reinforcement installed in that last section of the wave.
Right.
So yeah, I think it looks really nice, but is it realistic? I don't know. I don't know, because in this case, of course, when there is somebody standing underneath it, you need somebody to calculate everything to say that it is safe. And when this civil engineer will start to calculate, he will have a lot of questions about 3D printed concrete, and we will end up with as I showed you in the presentations, that we will need to build such a sculpture and break it to show that it works. And that might not be, so you said 3 cubic meters of concrete. Yes, to fill it, to to fill with something lightweight. Could be an option to make it a little, less bulky. Definitely in the places where you don't need that concrete for some extra strength. Yeah. In the case, where this first team only that didn't present today, they can fill their blocks, and that doesn't change anything, and just add some structural safety. In this case, you just add more weight. If it doesn't, this concrete doesn't hold any reinforcement. So, what could be lightweight? Some foam material, probably. The foam material is quite okay in helping you to keep your shape, but is very lightweight. That could be an option.
One thing that I would like to add that already Ervin's mentioned is that it's feasible, and so we could look at it as this is like our vision as like our grand finale, but we can start with the swings. And if looking from the liability perspective, it's like no one's like being injured. Of course, maybe the structure might be damaged, so it's an experiment. It's experiment 1.0. The next one is the liability on the bicycle. So if it breaks, okay, no one, maybe of course it's not that great that the bicycle is like sort of damaged or gets scratches, but still it's like, you know, like the next stage. Then when you feel like really comfortable of, hey, like we could do this, then there's like the biggest challenge, or like printing it out with the devices that are available. But you know, it's definitely sort of like a step. Each of these phases are stepping stones, and even like when we get more used to and more information and data through like these like the material properties, we can it's like a experiment of its own, including liability like levels.
Yeah, definitely. But I think, as I see in your poster, you should probably mention it more. So yeah, it is under, so everybody understands it. Like it's phase 1, 2, 3. Yeah, choose how far you want to build this sculpture. So these questions doesn't arise at the very end of the competition, and then the other jury members might not have gotten this point. But yeah, from that point of view, it's really nice. And thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. So let's push the limits. Let's see how it goes.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Team Free Architecture, for sharing, Ervin and Egils.
Yeah.
And if I stop sharing, then we can start sharing again. Okay, the next team is the people whose work is behind my back right now with the hand, and it's Team Rayar. Here we go, sharing the screen. And I will go to the print. Yeah, we can start again with Juris and then Māris.
From my perspective, it's quite simple walkthrough. Hand is quite printable, splittable, reinforcement adjustable. Yeah, just think where is better to do it. Thinking of what drunken students can do with the concrete arm, and if it happens only now, what I'm not happy with the presentation, because there must be more sexy story behind that.
Oh yeah, Yanis Blocks also had a question. Does it tie in to that story about the philosopher? And if yes, how? That should probably be on the poster also mentioned.
Yeah, but the hand is the everything. Yes, that means it's from printing perspective, there is no problem to think how to do it better. Yeah, to avoid some bad things after 1 year, 3 years, and what happens because it's quite a good thing where to for students to use their imagination when drunken. To not break it. That's it. And if it's a good story behind that, I think it's very, very, very good symbol of people and concrete printing. Māris.
Yes, I was looking at the arm. It's not clear to me. Does the arm move right now or no? So the idea of that it will do some various so you can yeah.
Yeah, hello guys. Can you hear me? Yeah, great. So we step aside a bit from this flexibility because we are a bit lacking of structural guy in our team. So we just try to stick to challenge this surrounding forces which will come arise. So we are more thinking about how to connect all those elements together. Currently, as you can see in the poster, we are using more or less like bolted in embedded bolt elements connected with steel plates. So it will make like inner additional mesh of connections. And yeah, for now, it's more like a representable element. We will for sure work a bit more with this connection and the same symbol as it is, but for now it's like a static element.
Okay. Yeah, because you or your teammate wrote to me about these connections.
Yeah.
And maybe right now it's more clear how do they look. Okay, it's 3.8 meters. I don't know. Actually, I think what I would okay, it's only 800 kilograms. I would probably, okay, how to install it. The idea is I would probably try to just pour concrete into it, and that's it.
Like filled everything?
Yeah, fill everything with concrete, and it's the safest way. Because all these connections, all those bolts, it's not, I cannot quite. So how to fill it with concrete if you have these separate parts? That could be a question. Yeah. So maybe you just put the next element, because then you can add some reinforcement inside and just add next element, add next layer of concrete, and then till the very fingertips. The only thing that you would need to screw somehow connect would be the fingertips of the like those would be the place to add the last concrete. Okay, yes, it would add some weight, definitely. You can maybe calculate approximately the total volume, but anyway, that's a regular concrete. Well, it doesn't. Anyway, this structure needs a foundation. It's definitely clear. Yeah. It will not add, I think, anything that, well, it will add, but I would yes, look into that option, because then you don't need to answer any questions. Oh, how it will it hold together or no? It's just say, okay, no, we just add an element, a cylindrical element, like we just put a steel reinforcement in a horizontal direction, and then we just add next element, pour concrete, add next element, and pour concrete. It's like we use it as a regular concrete shuttering. Just That could be an option for you, definitely. I see it as definitely a possibility. Maybe those will need the same way as the previous teams. You need to seal in between the elements before you pour the concrete, because the regular concrete, well, it will come out of the whole structure when you pour it in. So that part, or maybe seal it from inside. Yeah, maybe if you don't want it like rubber, but you can get it in a gray color also. I think that could be one of the options also, because in this way, yeah, when you need to, I don't know if I wrote to you or that would be my next email, just to add these like very special place for your bolts, like any little deviation, and you are not able to connect it, and then it's like, if you use such a connection, you need to think that you have quite large gaps, and how you can like where to adjust your bolts. It cannot be like precise holes, and that goes only inside here. And definitely there cannot be only like, you cannot add a single bolt in your concrete. You need it like a bolt need to be like welded to some reinforcement, and then the reinforcement holds into concrete, and there is a bolt in between. And then where it's your metal plate, this metal plate needs to have this like a large hole, and then maybe some smaller like a washer. No, padlocks, yeah. You put the washer, and then your whole adjustment is much more easier. Yeah, think like that in that way, and maybe then you can keep to the metal these connections. But anyway, if you would screw in this, my question was when I saw it, like, also how would you, if you will like start from the bottom, how do you attach the fingertips? Because your screws are on the inside of the foam, so you need to get inside of the last section that you are screwing on the top. So you for the last element anyway need
we thought that it could
different.
Like be put it on like on sticks, like no kā kortis iekšā put, like no, it like the closest the system more or less. So it will not be, most probably the forces will not be the greatest ones on those fingertips. So we thought that it could like work like as a hat on top of your head, let's say like this. But we try to optimize the consumptions. That's the reason why we thought maybe we could minimize with those additional elements. But if it's fine enough, we increase the consumption, then it's, as you said before, it's much more easier.
The idea is that we don't to fill, we don't use 3D printed concrete. We use regular concrete. Regular concrete, just when we would install on the place, you come with this large truck, and it costs 80 euros per cubic meter, and you just slowly, there are several pieces, so it may be some, we need to think how to assemble it, but then you don't need to answer these questions. That is structurally anyway holds, are there some loads that can break, because you don't have any real reinforcement shown here, so it's 3.8 meters. So what kind of load can break it? Because their concrete is bad at the tensile strength, and it actually can, these layers can delaminate and just like collapse, even if you don't have any overhangs in this direction. Like a wind load is also a load. So if you would add just regular concrete with the reinforcements, you say, these are not our problems. So you can think about that, because this where you have iikšķis, it's also, if I look at the iikšķis part, it's like without any reinforcement, no, that probably won't hold. Yeah. If you add some another, like somebody climbs on top now, can break. Needs because
sure,
it's if it's unreinforced concrete, then it's so think about this from this point of view.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
but we will work more on storytelling. We have our idea in heads, but it's not implemented in our drawings, so we are still in progress for this. For sure.
Well, thank you. I don't know why I stopped sharing the screen. I always think that the next team will want to show, but maybe they don't. So Habitat, yes, probably will want to
They
share.
have also 3D models printed out.
Yes,
and
here we have
Juris probably has comments.
Juris will definitely have comments. Yeah, your microphone is off. The next team is Habitat, yeah.
Hi. I'm connecting remotely, so I won't have the chance to show my screen, but
it's all right. We are showing from our side.
Yeah, we
hear comments from Juris, who has printed the scale model. Yeah.
Do you want my comments?
Yes, yes. What's your and other engineers' comments about the scale print?
There is no problem to print, not from me, for me, not for plastic and not from concrete. I think it's a lot of printing time. Yes, it will take, but the effect will be amazing if it will happen. I think so. In last Tuesday also there was a lot of unknown questions and answers in your project, but the main guy who was spokesman last Tuesday something different. Yeah. And, I think the Māris must have some questions about calculations, physical calculations about what time, material, strengths. Then it's easy to put some reinforcements, like make some shelves solid. Yeah, but from printer side, that's it. You can just fill with regular concrete in some parts. From how many parts is in the model at all?
The whole sculpture consists of 36 parts, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, something like that. But we can adjust it to print more cells together. As long as it fits the print volume, there is no problem in combining them. So we would spend less time on assembly and less time on fixtures, and more uninterrupted time for the machine.
Okay.
The current divisions of the cells, there is quite a lot of space still left. I divided them a bit smaller to play it safe with the printing volume, so it would have some flexibility in case there are concerns about assembly, the assembly side of it.
Okay, Māris, comment, please.
Yes. Well, as Juris told, if you look at it in this direction, it is quite printable, definitely. But I remember last time when I think Waldemar's commented or somebody. So the idea was to also use some screws to attach these different cells together, or fixtures.
Yes, we are still working on the best approach to fixing these together. But I imagine it will be a mixture of chemical binding and some bolts and steel plates to distribute this pressure. But it's still work in progress. If you have comments that you see which will definitely not work, which directions, I'm happy to hear them.
The idea is like, if how to say, it's really because when I look at an arch, I understand or more or less how the forces will distribute. When I look at this, I can only, maybe it will be okay, or maybe it won't be okay, because it's really hard to understand how that, because we need to deliver all these forces to the ground, and then you need to something needs to, and concrete is best for compressive strength. And when you compress it like in this direction, and when something needs to bend, the concrete is not good at this part. And if you have some elements that just needs to some overhang, then when the tensile strength appears, then without reinforcement it just breaks. And I am afraid that this hole can just like a house of cards, like tick 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 tick, and just collapse like in that something similarly. That could be my imagination how it would collapse, but I don't know. I remember that the idea was that these three elements on the sides could be the ones that somehow support it, like the three pillars on each. That could be a solution that gives you some frame to work with. But anyway, it's still, it looks nice, it looks clear, but the same questions that I had at the very start.
Maybe then I think that we could to bring more certainty and more the certainty that it will hold, we might introduce some thicker, sort of like overlaying, you could say like a tree shape, like a much thicker veins, which could be counterfilled, so that the center part of the structure would have sort of a central column in a way, one large or many smaller ones. So we would direct the force directly, well, almost directly to the ground. Yes, that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
or shaping the cells in a way that it would compress.
Yeah, definitely think of it. That it needs just to compress, not to bend. I'm not quite sure that I totally understand the idea what you told about this tree shaped, but anyway, you just think of it how
what I mean is having thicker supports more in the center of the whole sculpture, well, of each of the three assemblies. Okay, I will think about it.
Definitely. That's the question is how to to connect them together and how they won't break. Because of course, if you use some, as for previous teams, if you use some screws that needs to be in exact places, yeah, then screws that are in the outdoors environment. So yes, stainless steel, special made screws for special construction. Yeah, it's like probably the amount of concrete would, okay, anyway, and 5 cubic meters of concrete. Is it really 5 cubic meters of concrete? Yeah, is that large?
Very approximately. It's 5.5 meters high with additional a little bit of foundation and also the filled parts, because we plan to fill most of the very bottom cells to give it more stability and make it more bottom heavy. So I think that is how the volume, that is why the volume is fairly large.
That could, yeah, definitely. If the bottom cells are filled, that would also help the structural part, what we discussed. Yeah, and think about it, like if you can find a solution without screws, definitely use something, because it's, yeah, then everything needs to be very precisely in the place, screwed together.
What is your opinion on chemical binding, binders for concrete or additional concrete? Have you had experience in those directions?
Expensive.
Well, this. Anyway, this looks expensive. This looks. I don't. Yeah, but
Mari, that's good. We don't want anything that looks cheap, you know.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Well, you can use them. They will work, I think. In this case, definitely. If you just yeah, we stack up these different cells. I think that is the direction to look into. I think that is the direction.
Okay, thank you.
From my point of view, there will be excellent like positioning and stabilizing element, like you make lower part or lower shells is like conical shape. Upper and the upper part is like conus goes to inside the lowest part, and then it cannot run anyway. But the connection must be redesigned, and you have a lot of them. If you are not lazy, that would be nice. But if you are complete with your model job, then it's there must be other solutions. Of course, expensive solutions.
Okay, I will think about it. So thank you, Ervins, for the suggestion of the add-on. I already used it to clean up this model to get rid of nasty artifacts.
Yeah, and then the STL files, wow.
Lots of triangles.
Like you were scanning something from ancient structures. No, okay. Don't do that.
It's yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you, Christian. Team Habitat.
Thank you.
The next team is a crazy idea. I will put on the screen, and here we go. Yeah, Juris, as always, you are the one we want to hear from first. and then we continue with Māris. And Daniel, of course, if you have some comments, feel free to jump in.
Yes, okay. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, from my side, only thing what I remember from last Tuesday is about polishing, and there is a question for Māris. If you see such a structure with some layers that make pain in that section, that is possible to polish this seating. Maybe it's not so. Daniel, have you experience with polishing not so smooth surface concrete?
Actually not, but I see floors in IKEA today. They are very shiny, so we can try something like this.
Maybe you can go to the laboratory, Māris, and try some sample to polish. I know that there is some tools for that with diamond surface.
Well, yes. The idea about polishing, well, usually to make floors look nice, mostly it's done when concrete is curing. In that phase, you go on top with those large polishing discs, but it happens when it's like few hours after concrete is starting to set, and then you can get this nice glassy concrete surface. Of course, you can also, as Juris suggested, to cut with the diamond disc, but it makes quite a lot of dust, like immense amount of dust. And when you polish with diamond disc, you cannot get actually a smooth surface because you cannot get your nothing holds you back to just you have to have a straight arm to polish with free hand and a diamond disc. Well, of course, in this case it would be practically impossible. But if we would think of making the surface more pleasurable to seating, maybe we can add some extra layer on the seating part. I don't know, of course, how that would look, but maybe to add some extra layer of like a cement-based mortar. Then there comes this master with a smooth hand. He puts this mortar on the top, and then he polishes it in a 1 or 2 hours, and that we can get a smooth surface in that way. Because when we print concrete, we are not printing in the same direction when we're seating. I don't see how we could polish in some of this wet polishing. That's one of the options, but I don't know how it goes together with the element itself. Yes, you can probably look in YouTube how concrete is, usually today such a curved concrete structures are polished. I think it's going to be easy to find something like that, but that would be only one of my concerns. The next would be about these segments. Right now, I think it's quite large segments. Do you feel that you would keep those elements, or it's planned to be cut in smaller pieces? Because as I see it right now, I don't think that it is quite possible for me to print these elements, or maybe it is.
I think it's possible to split them. I think now these are 6 pieces. Maybe 12 pieces is better.
Mm-hmm.
There's no problem to split it twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm looking at these angles and I don't. Well, for example, the very top. No, like the last section. I don't know if those angles. Maybe they are 20 degrees and they can be printable, but those like final elements, and there is like different curves. I think they should be split in different way, and no, like in more pieces, and definitely something needs to be. Now it's like a hollow inside, so you have an element and it's like totally hollow structure. Probably needs some support inside of the structure, so it doesn't break by its own weight. Something similar that might be the hand had, or some kind of concrete mesh inside.
Okay.
Yeah,
Understand.
Daniel, you have some mate that helps you with presentation, or you are only?
Excuse me, I have very bad internet. Can you repeat, please, the question?
You have some extra mate to help with the presentation, because I think with your model there is no problem with the technical abilities and solutions, but I think you must work on the story. There is a lot of questions if you have no answers in your story. Therefore, I ask him, because I'm happy with your job, but happy with your story and presentation. That makes pain in my heart. Māris and Andra, there is some solution.
Actually, like I could send Daniela some contacts, and I know that there are some teams that kind of quit it probably because they don't have time. So I'm not sure if it's very reasonable to ask them. But we have this public group on Facebook, which is called 3D Concrete News, and there are actually some of participants are there, but there are also enthusiasts that just check these posts. So maybe some of them are really into this particular field, and they could help you out, or I can kind of show you some of architecture students maybe who didn't kind of get to this competition this far, so maybe they actually wanted to participate but couldn't. So yeah, I will let you know, Daniel, personally.
Yeah, I would say there are not that many teams left, and there are three
you.
prizes, so it's definitely worth a little bit extra effort to get into the awarded ones. Otherwise, I think Māris, did you already give a comment, or?
Yeah, I think well, yes, just to split it in smaller sections. Look that the angles are appropriate for being printed, and some support on the inside that holds the structure together. Overall, I think it's doable if those are met, these criteria. Thank you.
Okay. Let's go over to the last but not least today. It's Team Architects, and here's I just received the prints, and these are the first photos from them. Juris, I think you have a lot of fresh impressions from just printing them.
Yeah, hello. The main of the team architects are here.
and we are ready to listen to the comments.
From my side, this is simplest project in that competition for printer. Yeah, that's an advance and disaster in one piece. What can I say? If the idea is quite nice, because the printer can do all the things, also with the extra shelves in bottom, or turn it up and it's on top. The extra shelves, like thickening or make some more solidizing the structure from there is no comments. If you win the competition, then Māris will be very happy. Māris, but he's a doctor who will print all the stuff. Yeah, there is no risk, no huge cubic meters of. No risk if something fails in installation, then also it looks nice. Geometrically, put some extra screws, you can reach it, you can, yeah, it's, yeah. Your simplicity of your model it's advanced and disaster, I say so.
Yeah, I think one question from Māris, or yeah, probably Māris, is also the jury might ask if it's not easier to do it with traditional concrete casting methods, right? So that's something you should think about the answer there. Why 3D concrete printer is the best to create these forms, but I'll allow Māris to give more professional input into this.
Yeah, regular concrete. Yeah, probably we if the shapes all are, well, there are some rounding of those elements. So if you have some round elements, then probably it's not so. Yeah, so there is the answer in that element. If you would have those only straight elements, then yes, 3 plywoods is definitely easier to be screwed together and cast with regular concrete. I of course like the shapes. That was my question. Now I see that, okay, it's not 5 layers thick, it's only on at the very bottom or top. What's the idea? And I have to charge my phone, so I will be running right now, but I'm listening.
The idea is to make the same that we see in the visualizations. There is the thing that the borders we can create with the like one extrusion layer, like we are going up. But when it's printing end, we see that there is a lot of space, that there is a lot of space for the soil or something else. But we would like to see the same that we see in the visualization. So here we can see the 2 pictures. Like in the up picture, we can see the difference between the one like wall layer, and if we create like a space or something else, how I can call it, of the concrete. And when we create this, it's looks like more nice, because then people are able to put some hands or something else on the that object. And it's printed, how it's printed, just we print in the mirror opposite side, and when we print it, then we just create another side and we get that shape that we need. So experimentally we get and solve this problem. So this is the main idea.
Any comments? No,
Māris, are you alive?
Māris went for charging his phone. Yes. So yeah, I would still worry a little bit about these bench shapes. There is also bendable plywood. So some of the more professional jury members might, at least if I was in the jury, I would ask that question, because 3D concrete printing is not the cheapest technology. And in that regard, I would think of not doing it just for the sake of making it hard for traditional methods, but seeing how that can benefit your product. I don't know, maybe it's easier to sit on a chair that has edges that are not straight, right? Maybe there are some benefits from how easy it is to approach it, but don't lose your design identity if you want to keep it, but maybe think about these shapes and if there are other areas where it could be made more 3D printable, because traditional concrete casting is very efficient and resource not intensive, and in that regard, that was one of the main criteria for evaluating works. So printability is also a criteria, and these are intentionally competing criteria. So something that is easy to print probably is sometimes also easier to make in other methods, but that's the challenge of finding the balance there. I think currently you are probably towards something that could be easier casted than printed. Although printing it is very possible.
Yeah, in my opinion, when we start this project, what we see that the traditional concrete printing is not good for this task, because if we are multiply these objects and create them parametric, for example, if we work in the programs, for me, for example, this bench was created quite fast, because we use parametric things, and we can create different forms, shapes, or lines that this form will follow, and it's make each form that we will create next, it will be different, but the concept of this bench will be the same. And if you use them classic concrete creating forms, then we need to create each form new, and there is a lot of time to create the form and then put the concrete and something else. But if we work with the programs, how we do that now, then we just put the programs of the new benches that we created in the 3D concrete printer, and it's printing it. So it's very fast. That is making the process very fast. If we are talking about the not only for about one object, but many objects, and we see that our bench is very quite good for Latvian University. If we will put there many or in the line or in the different place in the lines, that makes the panorama views and something else. So that's why the 3D concrete printing would be, this would be one of the biggest big advantage why we can use the 3D concrete printing for these objects. So that was the first opinion. But the second, yes, that's right, that let's see before say the Juris. Or Māris Šinka.
I think if it's not unique, not in one piece, the whole model, then of course for this I would prefer molds from like forms. Yes, where to just put some regular concrete from the big car, and there is no problem. The molds or forms is not expensive. If it's a lot of them must be produced, then of course for this design the molds is most optimized. If it's only one, then it's of course 3D printing is cheaper than making molds. But yes, you must, of course, combining methods also is a nice approach. If something unmoldable or very expensive part is printed, but the straight shapes or easy to make the mold. It's just plywood, and combining is also very good how to save time and material and money. Yes, and of course it says you are clever because you are not wasting time and material with some expensive method or slow method. Māris.
Is Māris back?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, my phone died.
Yeah. So we were talking and discussing if this is the most, still continuing that thought process. I think one of the ways is also if someone asks a question, that's already an indicator, of course. And at least it has to be super obvious. This argumentation process of yours, it should be put in posters somewhere. Why did you chose such an approach? I think, and maybe you can combine. That's also not a bad idea.
Yeah, I definitely like the Juris last comment about if it can be made in a regular manner, then you can make it like from regular concrete and maybe those elements on top where you have these curved forms, you make it with 3D concrete, and maybe that's also a really nice idea. But overall, of course, as you just mentioned, I appreciate this object and would like to print this one. Yes.
Yeah,
okay. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, we are quite right on time. If there are no more closing comments, then I would really encourage you to join next Tuesday when we are having the lecture from Dr. Fabian Meyer. That's also the ultimate final. Then how many more final? But deadline for the posters.
I had Māris.
Okay. Yes, Māris.
I had that one. Yeah. I because when I looked at some of these of those works, I realized that maybe I remember if somebody is working in SolidWorks or can work in SolidWorks, I think in SolidWorks you can get this strain diagram, so you know where are your weak spots. It definitely applies to the infra and maybe habitat. So we don't have to guess where are your problems. We can maybe see, because of course structural engineering programs would show you where are your weak spots, but I do not expect you to have them or work with them. But I think you can get something similar in SolidWorks. And then if you don't work in SolidWorks, I think you can, but I'm not sure that you can import your model there. Yeah, maybe there are other ways how to see your these strains on your model, but only some teams need them. But maybe the last also this B98 would need that kind of approach, like the simple structural approach to see where are the problems. That could help you to understand and all the jury to be confident that this is understandable and solvable. But overall, yes, I think really great progress, because I hadn't seen these works for a while, and I am really impressed with what I see. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Māris. Maybe some other comments before we stop the live stream.
I think then we can round up if anyone
Yeah,
jumps
of
in.
course, if there are teams that have some questions they want to ask personally, then you can stay in the Zoom.
Yeah, there was one team
then
who
you
wanted.
can you can stay here, and probably Juris and maybe Māris also can stay for a little bit, and then see you next week on this lecture from our Perry expert with the large scale constructions. And yeah, it's gonna be very interesting, I believe.
Right now, I'm doing a little teaser of it. So
yeah, already teasing you.
There already are slides. There are a lot of
yeah,
details.
a lot of information, and yeah, he's also
the
ready
presentation looks like revealing commercial secrets at this point.
Yeah,
so it's quite detailed and great.
Also, Fabian said he looked at your works and he will be really happy to have some comments. And so, yeah, don't miss it out. It's going to be very interesting for you.
Yeah, if there is one meeting not to miss, then it's probably the final presentations on 1st of April and this one.
Yeah.
So thank you all for joining in, and see you next week.
Yes, bye-bye, guys. See you.